1. We're diving into the world of classic American muscle with a 1972 Pontiac LeMans that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This beauty is looking for a new owner who's ready to give it the love and attention it deserves. Now let's get real for a moment. The seller admits that this LeMans is in fair condition, and it's got some rust, especially around the vinyl roof. But hey, that's just an opportunity to put your own stamp on this classic ride, right? Under the hood, you'll find a 350 engine with a 4-barrel Edelbrock carburetor, which is a solid setup for a car like this. It's paired with a 3-speed transmission, so you can expect a classic driving experience. The interior is also in fair condition, but that's just another chance to show off your DIY skills and give it a fresh new look. One of the standout features of this LeMans is the set of Corvair rims it's riding on. They add a touch of vintage cool to an already eye-catching ride. The seller does mention that the car will start with a good battery, so keep that in mind if you're considering taking this project on. Overall, this 1972 Pontiac LeMans is a great opportunity for someone who's ready to dive into a classic car project. It's got a solid foundation with the 350 engine and 3-speed transmission, and plenty of potential for customization. The asking price is $5,500, which seems fair for a car in this condition with these features. Just be prepared to put in some work to get it looking and running its best. If you're up for the challenge and ready to add a classic piece of American muscle to your garage, this 1972 Pontiac LeMans might just be the project car you've been waiting for. 2. We're taking a closer look at a real gem from the past, a 1967 Plymouth Belvedere 2 that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This classic sedan is a true time capsule, and it's just waiting for the right owner to give it the love and attention it deserves. First things first, let's talk about the condition. The seller describes it as good, and from what we can see, this Belvedere 2 is a really nice original car. It's got a 225 cubic inch 6-cylinder engine under the hood, paired with an automatic transmission, making it a great choice for cruising around town or hitting the highway. The odometer shows 108,000 miles, but it's important to note that it has rolled over, so the actual mileage may be higher. Still, for a car that's over 50 years old, that's not bad at all. One of the standout features of this Belvedere 2 is its bright yellow paint job. It's a color that definitely catches the eye and sets it apart from the crowd. Now, the seller does mention that the car has been sitting for a while and needs some TLC. That's not surprising for a vehicle of this age, and it's something to keep in mind if you're considering taking on this project. However, the seller also points out that the car is very complete, which is a big plus if you're looking to restore it or use it as a parts car, though it would be a shame to see this beauty torn apart. The asking price for this 1967 Plymouth Belvedere 2 is $6,200, which seems like a fair deal considering its condition and originality. It's a car that has a lot of potential, whether you want to use it as a daily driver or give it a full restoration. One thing to note is that the seller is pretty straightforward about the sale. They don't need help selling the car, and they're not interested in any weird reports or websites. So, if you're serious about making this Belvedere 2 yours, it's best to reach out directly and set up a time to see it in person. Overall, this 1967 Plymouth Belvedere 2 is a fantastic find for anyone who appreciates classic American cars. It's got a great look, a solid drivetrain, and plenty of potential for the right owner. If you're ready to take on a project and bring this beauty back to its former glory, this could be the perfect car for you. 3. We've got a real treat for you, a stunning 1976 Cadillac Coupe DeVille that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This classic luxury ride is a true time capsule, and it's ready to take you back to the golden age of American automotive design. First off, let's talk about the condition of this beauty. The seller describes it as good, and from what we can see, that's an understatement. This Coupe DeVille is a very honest and original example, with just 2 owners in its history. The previous owner had it since 1988, and it's been garaged all its life. which is a testament to how well it's been cared for. One of the most impressive things about this Caddy is its incredibly low mileage. With just 62,291 miles on the odometer, it's clear that this car has been cherished and preserved over the years. It's rare to find a classic like this with such low mileage, and it's a big selling point for collectors and enthusiasts alike. Under the hood, you'll find a massive 500 cubic inch V8 engine, which was the largest engine available in a Cadillac at the time. It's a powerhouse that's sure to turn heads and get your heart racing every time you fire it up. The exterior of this Coupe DeVille is finished in a beautiful blue color that's just as striking today as it was back in 1976. The seller notes that the car has never been repainted, which is a real rarity for a vehicle of this age. It's a true survivor that's ready to be shown off at car shows and cruise nights. Inside, you'll find a spacious and luxurious interior that's just as impressive as the exterior. Cadillac was known for its top-of-the-line interiors in the 1970s, and this Coupe DeVille is no exception. It's a true pleasure to sit behind the wheel and soak up all the vintage charm. The asking price for this 1976 Cadillac Coupe DeVille is $10,000, which may seem like a lot at first glance. However, when you consider the car's incredible condition, low mileage, and original features, it starts to look like a real bargain. This is a car that's sure to appreciate in value over time, and it's a great investment for anyone who loves classic American luxury cars. Overall, this 1976 Cadillac Coupe DeVille is a rare find that's not to be missed. It's a true survivor that's been lovingly cared for over the years, and it's ready to hit the road and cruise in style. If you're in the market for a classic Caddy that's sure to turn heads and make you feel like a king or queen of the road, this is the car for you. Don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make it yours today. 4. We're diving into the world of classic American muscle with a 1979 Pontiac Firebird that's up for sale on Craigslist. This second-generation Firebird is a fantastic starting point for anyone looking to tackle a restoration project and bring a piece of automotive history back to life. Now, let's be real. This Firebird isn't in perfect condition. The seller is upfront about the fact that it needs some work, but they also highlight the significant amount of restoration that's already been done. The floor panels, rear frame rails, and rocker panels have all been replaced, which is a big step in the right direction. The front subframe, quarter panels, and trunk floors are all solid, which is great news for anyone taking on this project. One thing to keep in mind is that this Firebird doesn't come with a motor or transmission. That means you'll have the opportunity to choose your own power plant and gearbox, which could be a fun part of the build process. Whether you want to stick with a classic Pontiac engine or go with something more modern, the choice is yours. The interior and all the glass are included with the car, which is a nice bonus. It's always good to have as many original parts as possible when you're working on a restoration. The seller does mention that the hood and fenders could use some work or be replaced, but they also note that they aren't in awful condition. That's something to consider when you're budgeting for the project, but it's not a deal breaker by any means. One of the biggest selling points of this Firebird is the amount of rust repair that's already been done. The seller estimates that around $5,000 has been invested in fixing up the floor panels, rear frame rails, and rocker panels. That's a significant chunk of the restoration process already taken care of, which could save you time and money in the long run. The asking price for this 1979 Pontiac Firebird is $6,500, which seems like a fair deal considering the work that's already been done and the potential for a really cool finished product. It's not a turnkey car by any means, but it's a solid starting point for someone who's willing to put in the work. The car is located in Courtenay, BC, and comes with BC registration in the seller's name. That's important to note if you're considering taking on this project from out of province. Overall, this 1979 Pontiac Firebird is a great opportunity for someone who's looking for a classic muscle car project. It's got a lot of potential, and with the right vision and some elbow grease, it could be a real head-turner. If you're up for the challenge and ready to dive into the world of classic car restoration, this Firebird might just be the perfect project for you. 5. We've got a real gem on our hands, a 1965 Studebaker cruiser that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This beauty is a rare find, with only 791 ever made, and it could be yours for just $80,500. Now let's dive into the details. This Studebaker has a super straight body, with only minor rust around the back window and a bit on the hood. But don't let that deter you. The floorboards are solid, and all the glass is in good condition. Plus, all the doors lock, so you can keep your valuables safe while cruising down the highway. Under the hood, you'll find a 6-cylinder engine that runs on gas. The odometer shows 87,000 original miles, which is pretty impressive for a car that's over 50 years old. And get this, it's got a rare 3-on-the-tree column shifter, which is a manual transmission that's sure to impress your car-loving friends. The seller has put a lot of work into this car, with a rebuilt carburetor, new valve covers, and a complete tune-up that includes new hoses, belts, wires, and plugs. They even restored the original radiator and water pump, which cost a whopping $1,100. But hey, that's the price you pay for a complete cooling system that's sure to keep your engine running smoothly. Now, the paint and interior could use some attention, but that's part of the charm of owning a vintage car. You can either fix it up to your liking or drive it as is and let the patina tell the story of its long and interesting life. The seller is throwing in a custom car cover to keep your new ride protected, and the registration is good until June 2025. Plus, they've got a clean title in their name and all the receipts for the work they've done. So you can buy with confidence, knowing that this Studebaker has been well taken care of. The seller says it's a smooth drive, and they're pricing it to sell at $8,500 or best offer. They're even willing to negotiate a little, but don't lowball them. This is a serious inquiries only kind of deal. So if you're in the market for a vintage car that's sure to turn heads and start conversations, this 1965 Studebaker Cruiser might just be the one for you. It's the perfect entry-level collector's car, and it's located in Julian, California. Don't miss out on this rare opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. 6. We're taking a look at a 1971 Cadillac hearse that's up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty has been sitting in storage since the early 1990s and has only been outside a handful of times. Can you believe it? First off, let's talk about the condition of this hearse. The seller claims it's in excellent shape, and from the looks of it, I'd have to agree. The paint job is custom, and the interior is in very good condition. There are a few minor dents and a little rust around one of the windows, but overall, this hearse is looking sharp. Under the hood, you'll find an 8-cylinder engine that runs on gas. The odometer reads 84,000 miles, which is pretty low for a vehicle of this age. The transmission is automatic, and the drive is rear-wheel drive, so you know this thing is built for smooth cruising. Now let's talk about some of the unique features of this hearse. The vinyl top is in almost perfect condition, which is impressive considering its age. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any power windows or locks, but hey, that's just part of the charm of owning a classic car. The air conditioning needs to be recharged or switched to R134, but that's an easy fix. One thing to note is that one of the windows in the back has been replaced with plexiglass. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if you're a stickler for originality. The seller mentions that there's plenty of room in the back for surfboards or whatever else you might need to haul around. And get this, it's even big enough to sleep in. Talk about a multi-purpose vehicle. Now let's talk price. The seller is asking $10,000 for this unique ride, but they're open to offers and trades of muscle cars that run and drive. No junk though. They're not looking for any projects. The hearse is located in San Luis Obispo, California, and the seller is DW Auto Sales. They're asking for cash only, plus tax, dock fees, and license. The title is in hand, so you know this is a legitimate deal. Overall, if you're in the market for a unique, classic vehicle that's sure to turn heads wherever you go, this 1971 Cadillac hearse might just be the one for you. It's in excellent condition, has plenty of room for all your gear, and is priced to sell. Just imagine rolling up to your next car show or beach day in this bad boy. You'll be the talk of the town. 7. We've got a real treat for you. A completely restored 1957 Ford Ranchero that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This beauty is a true classic, and it could be yours for just $15,000. First off, let's talk about the restoration. The seller has gone all out on this one, building it on a 1991 Lincoln Town Car frame. That means you get all the modern conveniences like power disc brakes, power steering, and even power seats. Plus, with vintage air AC and heat, you'll be cruising in comfort no matter what the weather's like outside. Under the hood, you'll find a beefy 300 V1W engine that's sure to provide plenty of power. And with an automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive, this Ranchero is built for smooth cruising down the highway. Now let's talk about the exterior. The paint job is a gorgeous blue that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. The seller doesn't mention any rust or dents, so we can assume that the body is in excellent condition. And with a clean title, you can be sure that this Ranchero is ready to hit the road. Inside, the interior looks just as good as the outside. The seller doesn't provide any photos, but based on the description, we can assume that it's been fully restored to match the rest of the car. Now, I know what you're thinking. $15,000 is a lot of money for an old truck. But hear me out. This isn't just any old truck, it's a piece of automotive history. The Ford Ranchero was the first vehicle to combine the functionality of a truck with the style and comfort of a car. And with this particular Ranchero being fully restored and in excellent condition, it's sure to be a hit at any car show or cruise night. Plus, think about all the practical uses for a Ranchero. You can haul your gear to the beach, take it camping, or even use it as a daily driver. And with all the modern conveniences like AC and power steering, it's sure to be a comfortable ride, no matter where you're headed. So, if you're in the market for a classic car that's sure to turn heads and provide plenty of fun on the road, this 1957 Ford Ranchero might just be the one for you. It's got the perfect mix of vintage style and modern conveniences, and it's priced to sell at just $15,000. Don't miss out on this opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. 8. We've got a real gem on our hands, a 1984 Chrysler Fifth Avenue that's up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is in good condition and could be yours for just $4,000. First off, let's talk about the mileage. With only 89,765 original miles on the odometer, this Fifth Avenue has been well maintained and lightly driven throughout its life. That's pretty impressive for a car that's almost 40 years old. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 8-cylinder engine that runs on gas. The seller claims it runs great, which is always a good sign. However, they do mention that it needs a new muffler, which should only set you back around $150. And if you want to make it even better, an alignment might be a good idea too. Now let's talk about the interior. The seller says it's in excellent condition, which is a huge plus. There's nothing worse than a classic car with a beat-up interior, but that's not the case here. You'll be cruising in style and comfort in this Fifth Avenue. As for the exterior, the seller doesn't mention any major issues. There might be some minor imperfections, but that's to be expected with a car of this age. And hey, a little patina never hurt anyone, right? The seller does mention that there are a few small things that need attention, like the windshield wipers and some tiny original parts like light bulbs, but those are easy fixes that shouldn't break the bank. Now, let's talk about the ownership history. This Fifth Avenue has had only 2 owners in its lifetime, which is a good sign. It's been locally driven and comes with a clean title, so you can buy with confidence. And get this, the registration is up to date until March 2025. That means you can drive it off the lot and onto the road without any hassle. The seller claims that this is the best conditioned Fifth Avenue on the web, at the best value, and I'm inclined to believe them. They're only selling it because they're taking a 4-month cross-country motorcycle trip and need the funds. Otherwise, they'd keep it forever. So, if you're in the market for a classic car that's in good condition, has low mileage, and comes with a clean title, this 1984 Chrysler Fifth Avenue might just be the one for you. It's got a powerful engine, a comfortable interior, and a price tag that won't break the bank. Don't miss out on this opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. 9. We're taking a closer look at a 1981 Chevrolet Camaro that's up for sale on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this one is a real beauty. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller describes it as being in good shape, and from the looks of it, I'd have to agree. The purple paint job is eye-catching and really makes this Camaro stand out from the crowd. There's no mention of any major dents, dings, or rust, which is always a good sign. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 350 V8 engine that's sure to get your heart racing. The seller doesn't mention any modifications or upgrades, so we can assume it's the original engine. And with an automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive, this Camaro is built for cruising in style. Now, let's talk about the mileage. The odometer has rolled over, which means it's showing 100,000 miles. But don't let that scare you off. These third-generation Camaros are known for their durability and longevity. With proper maintenance and care, this one could easily go another 100,000 miles or more. The seller doesn't provide any photos of the interior, but they do mention that the car has a clean and clear title. That's always a good sign, as it means there's no shady history or hidden damage to worry about. Now let's talk price. The seller is asking $11,000 for this Camaro, which might seem a bit steep at first glance. However, when you consider the condition, the low mileage, and the fact that it's a sought-after Z28 model, it starts to look like a pretty fair deal. Plus, the seller is open to offers, so there may be some room for negotiation. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's always a good idea to have it inspected by a trusted mechanic before handing over any cash. But if everything checks out, this 1981 Camaro could be a great addition to any collection or a fun weekend cruiser. So, if you're in the market for a classic Camaro that's in good shape and ready to hit the road, this one might just be worth checking out. With its powerful engine, eye-catching paint job, and clean title, it's sure to turn heads wherever you go. Don't miss out on this opportunity to own a piece of American muscle car history. 10. We've got a real treat for you, a 1965 Chevrolet Corvair Monza convertible that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This beauty is in excellent condition and could be yours for just $7,800. First off, let's talk about the rarity of this car. The Corvair was a unique model for Chevrolet, with its rear-mounted air-cooled engine, and the Monza convertible was the top-of-the-line model, with a more powerful engine and upgraded interior. So, right off the bat, you know this is a special car. Now, let's dive into the details. The seller describes the car as being in excellent condition, and based on the photos, I'd have to agree. The black paint job looks shiny and smooth, with no visible rust or damage. The chrome bumpers and trim are also in great shape, adding to the overall classic look of the car. Under the hood, or should I say, in the trunk, you'll find a 6-cylinder engine that's sure to provide plenty of power. The seller doesn't mention any modifications or upgrades, so we can assume it's the original engine. And with a rear-wheel drive layout and an automatic transmission, this Corvair is built for cruising in style. The odometer shows just 67,482 miles, which is relatively low for a car of this age. Of course, there's always the possibility that the odometer has rolled over, but even if it has, that's still a reasonable amount of miles for a classic car. Inside, the seller doesn't provide any photos, but they do mention that the car has a clean title. That's always a good sign, as it means there's no shady history or hidden damage to worry about. Now, let's talk about how this car drives. The seller claims that it runs great and rides great, which is exactly what you want to hear when you're buying a classic car. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's always a good idea to have it inspected by a trusted mechanic before handing over any cash. But if everything checks out, this Corvair could be a real joy to drive. So if you're in the market for a unique and rare classic car that's in excellent condition, this 1965 Chevrolet Corvair Monza convertible might just be the one for you. With its powerful engine, sleek black paint job, and clean title, it's sure to turn heads wherever you go. And at just $7,800, it's a bargain compared to other classic convertibles on the market. But don't just take my word for it. Go check it out for yourself. Who knows, you might just fall in love with this quirky and cool piece of automotive history. 11. We're taking a closer look at a 1983 Ford Mustang GLX convertible that's up for sale on Craigslist, and let me tell you, this one is a real gem. First off, let's talk about the mileage. With only 37,156 miles on the odometer, this Mustang is practically a time capsule. It's rare to find a classic car with such low mileage, and it's a testament to how well this car has been cared for over the years. The seller purchased the car from the original owner in June of 2022, and they've provided a copy of the original owner's title as proof. That's a great sign, as it means the car has a clear and documented history. Under the hood, you'll find a 3.8L V6 engine paired with an automatic transmission. While it may not be the most powerful engine out there, it's still plenty peppy and should provide a fun driving experience. Plus, with features like power steering, power brakes, and cruise control, this Mustang is built for comfortable cruising. Now, let's talk about the exterior. The seller claims the car has its original paint, and based on the photos, it looks to be in excellent condition. The red color is bright and vibrant, and there's no mention of any major dents, dings, or rust. The convertible top is also new and features a glass rear window, which is a nice upgrade over the original vinyl window. Inside, the interior is also said to be original and in excellent condition. The seller mentions a leather-wrapped steering wheel, factory stereo with cassette and amp booster, and full instrument gauges. There are also some nice extras like a top boot and carpeted floor mats. The seller has provided a clean Carfax report, which is always a good sign. It means the car has no reported accidents or major damage in its history. The seller also notes that this is a non-smoker's car and that it's very solid and not rusty. In terms of maintenance, the seller has recently serviced the car with a tune-up, carburetor overhaul, oil change, and filter replacement. That's great news, as it means the car should be in good mechanical condition and ready to hit the road. Now, let's talk price. The seller is asking $12,150 for this Mustang, which may seem a bit steep at first glance. However, when you consider the low mileage, excellent condition, and documented history, it starts to look like a pretty fair deal. These third-generation Mustangs are becoming increasingly popular among collectors, and finding one in such great shape is getting harder and harder. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's always a good idea to have it inspected by a trusted mechanic before handing over any cash. But if everything checks out, this 1983 Mustang GLX convertible could be a great addition to any collection or a fun weekend cruiser. So if you're in the market for a classic Mustang that's in excellent condition and has been well cared for over the years, this one is definitely worth checking out. With its low mileage, original paint and interior, and recent maintenance, it's sure to turn heads wherever you go. Don't miss out on this opportunity to own a piece of American muscle car history. 12. We're diving into the world of classic American luxury with a 1979 Lincoln Town Car that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at just $2,150, which seems like a steal for a piece of automotive history. Now, let's be real here. The seller admits that this town car isn't in perfect condition. It's got some rust, and it definitely needs a good cleaning inside and out. But hey, that's to be expected with a car that's been around for over 4 decades, right? Despite its flaws, there's still a lot to love about this Lincoln. It's powered by a beefy 400 cubic inch V8 engine, which should provide plenty of smooth, effortless power. And with just 58,567 miles on the odometer, this car still has a lot of life left in it. The seller also mentions that the car has a clean New York title, which is always a good sign. You don't want to get stuck with a vehicle that has a sketchy past or legal issues. One thing to keep in mind is that the seller describes the overall condition as good. Now, that's a pretty subjective term, and it's always a good idea to see the car in person and get a mechanic to check it out before making a final decision. But here's the bottom line. If you're looking for a classic American luxury coupe that oozes style and presence, this 1979 Lincoln Town Car could be a great option. Sure, it needs some work, but that's part of the fun of owning a vintage car. And at this price point, it's a lot of car for the money. These town cars are getting harder and harder to find in any condition, so if you're interested, you might want to act fast. Who knows? With a little elbow grease and some TLC, this could be the start of a beautiful friendship between you and a piece of American automotive history. 13. We've got a real treat for you. A 1965 Ford Mustang that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $12,000. This is a chance to own a piece of American muscle car history. First things first, let's talk about the condition of this classic beauty. The seller describes it as good, and from what we can see, it looks like a solid starting point for a restoration project. The car is completely original, which is a huge plus for collectors and enthusiasts who value authenticity. Under the hood, you'll find a 289 cubic inch V8 engine paired with a C4 automatic transmission. The seller mentions that the car starts right up and can be driven, but the carburetor will need a rebuild. It's always a good idea to give any classic car a thorough inspection before hitting the road, so trailering it to your location might be the safest bet. Now, let's talk about the body and interior. The seller notes that the car was disassembled for paint, and they have all the chrome pieces ready to go. The floors are said to be solid, and the seller couldn't locate any rust, which is a common issue with classic cars. The headliner is in perfect condition, and all the glass is original, although the windshield does have some cracks. The seller also has new panels and seat covers, so you've got a head start on the interior restoration. One thing to keep in mind is that this Mustang is a project car. It's not going to be a turnkey, drive off into the sunset kind of deal, but for the right person, this could be an incredible opportunity to bring a piece of automotive history back to life. The seller is open to possible trades for a more complete muscle car or truck, so if you've got something to offer, it might be worth reaching out. Overall, this 1965 Ford Mustang is a promising project car with a lot of potential. It's got a clean title, original parts, and a solid foundation to build upon. If you're up for the challenge and have the space and resources to take on a restoration, this could be the perfect car for you. Just remember to do your due diligence, get a thorough inspection, and be prepared to put in some work to bring this classic back to its former glory. 14. We've got a real gem on our hands, a 1979 Lincoln Continental Town Car that's been lovingly maintained and is ready for its next adventure. This beauty is currently up for grabs on Craigslist for just $11,900, and let me tell you, it's worth every penny. First off, can we take a moment to appreciate the stunning red paint job? The seller mentions that it's been recently hand polished and ceramic coated, so it's got a shine that'll make your eyes pop. Sure, there are a few paint chips on the front, but that's just a sign of a car that's been enjoyed and driven, not hidden away in a garage. Now let's talk about what's under the hood. This Lincoln is packing a powerful V8 engine that purrs like a kitten and roars like a lion when you need it to. And with just 58,320 miles on the odometer, this car has plenty of life left in it. The seller even says they wouldn't hesitate to drive it cross-country, and I believe them. But what really sets this car apart is the attention to detail. The seller mentions that everything works perfectly, from the AC to the cruise control to the power antenna. And get this, even the Cartier clock is ticking away like it's brand new. It's clear that this car has been loved and cared for by someone who appreciates the finer things in life. The interior is just as impressive as the exterior. The seller notes that it's very clean with no stains or rips, so you can ride in comfort and style. And with a clean title and automatic transmission, you can hop in and hit the road without any worries. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but wait, the seller admits they don't know the whole story of the vehicle, and you're right, they do. But that just adds to the mystique of this classic car. Who knows what kind of adventures it's been on? What stories it could tell? That's part of the fun of owning a vintage ride like this. In conclusion, if you're looking for a classic car that's been well maintained, has plenty of life left in it, and is ready for its next chapter, this 1979 Lincoln Continental Town Car is the one for you. With its stunning red paint job, powerful V8 engine, and attention to detail, it's sure to turn heads wherever you go. So don't hesitate. Head on over to Craigslist and make this beauty yours before someone else snatches it up. 15. We've got a real treat for you. A 1962 Dodge Dart that's been given a new lease on life. This beauty is currently up for grabs on Craigslist for just $9,800. And let me tell you, it's a project car that's just waiting for the right person to come along and give it the love it deserves. First things first, let's talk about the condition of this Dart. The seller mentions that it's never been rusted, which is a huge plus for any classic car. However, they do admit that it needs some work to get it back on the road. The brakes need attention, but the good news is that the seller has all the parts necessary to get them up and running. Now let's talk about what makes this Dart so special. Under the hood, you'll find a 318 Poly V8 engine that's just begging to be fired up. The seller mentions that it should run, and that it did just 3 years ago. With some TLC, this engine could be purring like a kitten in no time. But what really sets this Dart apart is the work that's been done to transform it from a 4-door to a 2-door post. The seller has used all original parts to make this conversion, and while the passenger side is still in 4-door configuration, they have all the parts necessary to complete the transformation. This is a project that's just waiting for someone with the skills and passion to see it through. The interior of this Dart has also been given some love, with reupholstered seats that look absolutely stunning. The seller has also included some nice touches, like a new speaker grille and an NOS floor mat. And let's not forget about the re-chromed bumpers that add some serious shine to this classic ride. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But wait, the odometer shows 122,000 miles. And you're right, it does. But let's be real, this is a classic car we're talking about. Those miles are just a testament to the adventures this Dart has been on over the years, and with a clean title, you can be sure that this car has been well documented throughout its life. In conclusion, if you're looking for a project car that's just waiting for the right person to come along and give it the love it deserves, this 1962 Dodge Dart is the one for you. With its never-rusted body, 318 Poly V8 engine, and 2-door post conversion, it's got all the makings of a true classic. And with a price tag of just $9,800, it's a steal for anyone who's willing to put in the work to get it back on the road. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to Craigslist and make this Dart yours before someone else snatches it up. 16. We've got a real blast from the past on our hands. A 1968 Pontiac Catalina that's been cherished by its original owners for over 5 decades. This beauty is currently up for grabs on Craigslist for just $9,500. And let me tell you, it's a piece of automotive history that you won't want to miss out on. First off, can we take a moment to appreciate the fact that this Catalina was bought brand new at Schoon Motor Co. in Luverne, Minnesota? That's right, this car has been with the same family since day one. and it shows in the care and attention that's been given to it over the years. The seller even mentions that they bought it from the original owners themselves, which just goes to show how much this car means to them. Now, let's talk about what's under the hood. This Catalina is packing a powerful 400 engine that's ready to hit the road. The seller mentions that it currently has a 4-barrel carburetor, which is sure to give it some extra oomph when you put your foot down. But here's the really cool part. They also have the original 2-barrel carb and intake, so if you're looking to restore this car to its original glory, you've got all the parts you need. But what really sets this Catalina apart is its overall condition. With just 93,000 original miles on the odometer, this car has been lovingly maintained and cared for over the years. The seller mentions that it runs and drives well, which is a testament to the quality of the Pontiac brand and the dedication of its previous owners. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but wait, the ad doesn't mention anything about the paint or interior? And you're right, it doesn't. But that's okay, because sometimes it's the mystery that makes a car like this so intriguing. Who knows what kind of stories this Catalina could tell? What kind of adventures it's been on? That's part of the fun of owning a classic car like this. In conclusion, if you're looking for a piece of automotive history that's been cherished by its original owners for over 5 decades, this 1968 Pontiac Catalina is the one for you. With its powerful 400 engine, low original miles, and overall good condition, it's a car that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. And with a price tag of just $9,500, it's a steal for anyone who appreciates the craftsmanship and style of classic American muscle. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to Craigslist and make this Catalina yours before someone else snatches it up. 17. We've got a real hidden gem on our hands, a 1966 Pontiac Ventura that's been tucked away in a barn, just waiting for the right person to come along and bring it back to life. This beauty is currently up for grabs on Craigslist for $12,000 or best offer, and let me tell you, it's a project car that's just begging for some love and attention. First things first, let's talk about what makes this Ventura so special. Under the hood, you'll find a beastly 455 4-barrel engine that's been swapped in to replace the original 389. This thing is a powerhouse, and it's mated to a turbo 400 hydromatic transmission that's ready to lay down some serious rubber. And with dual exhaust, you know this car is going to sound as mean as it looks. But here's the really cool part. The seller has included a fresh new radiator that's ready to be installed, as well as all 4 of the correct 14-inch spinner hubcaps. These are the kind of details that really set a classic car apart, and it's clear that the seller has put a lot of thought and care into this Ventura. Now I know what you might be thinking, but wait, it's a barn find. That means it must be in rough shape. And you're right, it probably does need some work. But that's the beauty of a project car like this. It's a blank canvas that's just waiting for someone with the vision and the skills to transform it into something truly special. The seller even mentions that this Ventura could be brought back as a drag racer, which is a testament to the power and potential of that 455 engine. Imagine hitting the track in a classic Pontiac like this, leaving everyone in your dust as you roar down the quarter mile. It's the kind of thrill that every car enthusiast dreams of. Of course, the ad doesn't go into a ton of detail about the overall condition of the car, so there may be some surprises in store for the lucky buyer. But that's part of the fun of taking on a project like this. It's a chance to get your hands dirty, to learn new skills, and to bring a piece of automotive history back to life. In conclusion, if you're looking for a project car that's got a ton of potential and a whole lot of attitude, this 1966 Pontiac Ventura is the one for you. With its powerful 455 engine, turbo 400 transmission, and included extras like the radiator and spinner hubcaps, it's a car that's just begging for someone to take it on and make it their own. And with a price tag of $12,000 or best offer, it's a steal for anyone who's up for the challenge. So what are you waiting for? head on over to Craigslist and make this Ventura yours before someone else snatches it up. 18. We've got a real treat for you. A 1976 Chevrolet Camaro that's been given a new lease on life with a killer engine swap. This beauty is currently up for grabs on Craigslist for just $10,000 or best offer. And let me tell you, it's a deal that's hard to beat. First things first, let's talk about what makes this Camaro so special. Under the hood, you'll find a 1994 LT1 350 engine that's been transplanted straight out of a Corvette. That's right, this Camaro is packing some serious heat, and it's ready to tear up the streets with all the power and performance that the LT1 is known for. The seller doesn't go into a ton of detail about the overall condition of the car, but they do mention that it runs good and looks good. That's a promising sign, and it suggests that this Camaro has been well cared for over the years. Of course, with any classic car, there may be some minor issues or imperfections, but that's all part of the charm. One thing that really stands out about this Camaro is the low mileage. With just 48,000 miles on the odometer, this car has a lot of life left in it. Whether you're looking for a daily driver or a weekend warrior, this Camaro is ready to hit the road and turn some heads. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but wait, the ad doesn't mention anything about the interior or the paint. And you're right, it doesn't. But that's okay, because sometimes it's the mystery that makes a car like this so intriguing. Who knows what kind of stories this Camaro could tell? What kind of adventures it's been on? That's part of the fun of owning a classic car like this. The seller also mentions that the car has a clean title, which is always a plus. You can buy with confidence knowing that this Camaro has been well documented and is ready for its next owner. In conclusion, if you're looking for a classic Camaro with a killer engine swap and plenty of potential, this 1976 model is the one for you. With its LT1 350 engine, low mileage, and overall good condition, it's a car that's sure to turn heads and get your heart racing. And with a price tag of just $10,000 or best offer, it's a deal that's hard to beat. So what are you waiting for? Give Eric a call or shoot him a text and make this Camaro yours before someone else snatches it up. 19. We've got a real gem on our hands. A 1982 Buick Riviera that's been lovingly maintained and is ready for its next adventure. This beauty is currently up for grabs on Craigslist for just $6,500, and let me tell you, it's a deal that's hard to beat. First off, can we take a moment to appreciate the fact that this Riviera has just 47,000 original miles on the odometer? That's right, this car has been cherished and cared for over the years, and it shows in the overall condition. The seller mentions that it runs great, which is a testament to the quality of the Buick brand and the dedication of its previous owners. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful V8 engine that's ready to hit the road. And get this, the seller mentions that it comes with a manual transmission, which is a rare find in a car like this. If you're a fan of rowing your own gears, this Riviera is the one for you. The exterior of this Riviera is finished in a classic white paint job that looks clean and crisp. The seller even includes the original spoked rims, which add a touch of vintage style to this already impressive ride. And if you're looking to take this car to the next level, the seller has included new rubber trim for the trunk and parts for the inner front and back bumpers. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but wait, the ad doesn't mention anything about the interior. And you're right, it doesn't. But that's okay, because sometimes it's the mystery that makes a car like this so intriguing. Who knows what kind of stories this Riviera could tell? What kind of adventures it's been on? That's part of the fun of owning a classic car like this. One thing that really stands out about this Riviera is the clean title. You can buy with confidence knowing that this car has been well documented and is ready for its next owner. And with a price tag of just $6,500, it's a deal that's hard to beat. The seller does mention that they are firm on the price, which is understandable given the overall condition and low mileage of this Riviera. But even at $6,500, This car is a steal for anyone who appreciates the style and craftsmanship of classic American luxury. In conclusion, if you're looking for a classic Buick Riviera that's been well maintained, has low original miles, and comes with some sweet extras like the original spoked rims and new rubber trim, this 1982 model is the one for you. With its powerful V8 engine, manual transmission, and clean title, it's a car that's ready to hit the road and turn some heads. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to Craigslist and make this Riviera yours before someone else snatches it up. 20. We've got a real beauty on our hands. A 1964 Buick Skylark convertible that's been lovingly restored and is ready to hit the road in style. This gorgeous ride is currently up for grabs on Craigslist for $10,000 or best offer, and let me tell you, it's worth every penny. First off, can we take a moment to appreciate the stunning white paint job on this Skylark? It's clean, crisp, and looks absolutely fantastic. The seller mentions that there are no cracks or damage, which is a testament to the care and attention that's been given to this car over the years. But what really sets this Skylark apart is what's under the hood. This baby is packing a Wildcat 310 V8 engine that's been completely rebuilt from the ground up. That's right, you're getting a brand new engine in a classic car body, and it's ready to roar. The seller even has receipts to prove the work that's been done, so you can buy with confidence. But the upgrades don't stop there. This Skylark also has brand new tires and brakes, so you can hit the road with peace of mind, knowing that you're riding on the best. And if you're a fan of classic style, you'll love the original rally wheels that come with this car. They're the perfect finishing touch to an already impressive ride. Inside, you'll find bucket seats that are in great condition, as well as the original radio that's ready to blast your favorite tunes. The seller mentions that this car is very stock and original, which is a huge plus for anyone who appreciates the history and craftsmanship of classic American cars. One thing that really stands out about this Skylark is the attention to detail. The seller has gone above and beyond to make sure that every aspect of this car is in top-notch condition. From the brand new carburetor to the special plates, it's clear that this car has been a labor of love. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But wait, it has 95,000 miles on the odometer. And you're right, it does. But let's be real, this is a classic car we're talking about. Those miles are just a testament to the adventures this Skylark has been on over the years. And with the rebuilt engine and new parts, this car has plenty of life left in it. In conclusion, if you're looking for a classic Buick Skylark convertible that's been restored to perfection, has a brand new engine, and comes with all the original style and charm, this 1964 model is the one for you. With its stunning white paint job, Wildcat 310 V8 engine, and attention to detail, it's a car that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. And with a price tag of just $10,000 or best offer, it's a deal that's hard to beat. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to Craigslist and make this Skylark yours before someone else snatches it up.